If you like what you hear in this podcast and want to help us keep the lights on, then you could support us on Ko-fi for as little as a £1 one-off donation. The links are in the episode description. Thanks for your support. This is Skip, the podcast where we tell you, in our opinion, which albums are truly unskippable and which ones belong in the skip. I'm Mike.
I'm Rob.
And this week we are taking a look at Meteora by Linkin Park. I keep wanting to say sophomore, but it is sophomore this time. It's the sophomore record. It's the second album. I actually got it right. Holy hell. Their second album, which was released like early 2000s. You should tell us an exact date. And this one comes from... Have you got that in front of you as well? Because I don't.
I certainly do. So this one was from Craig Morris, who actually submitted this album via the form on our link tree.
Which you can go to link. Oh God, here we go. linkter.ee/skippedpod.
And now you can also get in touch at skippedpod@gmail.com. That's skippdpod@gmail.com. You don't need that pesky E, and we're going to have to say it that way because of auto captions.
Yes.
You absolute bastard.
So this one's actually come from, I think I'm in the same company as this particular person. I think he listed that he's from Bristol, but I think he listed one of the exchanges. Just to give you an idea, I work in telecoms, obviously they work in exchanges, and I think he listed the exact exchange that he's operating out of, because I put this on the... Well, it's not the work Facebook anymore.
The intranet.
No, they moved to like...
Work Vivo.
That's the one.
I'm glad I don't have that anymore.
It's not very good.
It's not. But he actually put a comment as well.
He did? Great.
It was a phenomenal album that got me through my younger, more emotional days. Not a single track lets this album down.
I get the feeling that we're of a very similar age.
We need to see, Craig, whether we agree with you or not.
We do.
Won't it be interesting to hear?
Right. I'm going to do something that I don't normally do on this show. Because this is how strongly I feel about...
You're going to give an instant verdict and then walk out the room.
Not going to walk out the room.
Oh, thank God for that.
This is literally the album that got me into the kind of music that I'm into. I would feel dirty giving it anything less than unskippable. I'm putting that out on the table up front. I think this is unskippable because there is just too much like importance that this thing holds to me, and I kind of think it's just flawless, even though I know I have those rose-tinted glasses for it. Going back through it, I don't feel any different. I still love it as much as I did then. It's not to say that I won't have anything bad to say later on, because I really want to talk about the state of Linkin Park and also what the hell happened with the 20th anniversary of this album. But I'm putting it out there right now. This is unskippable. No notes.
That's a lot of meat to put on the table. So yeah, I'm not going to give. I'm not going to give my verdict that early. Okay. I'm actually going to wait and bide my time.
Well, it's interesting, right? Because we've had this conversation off show. You are not a Linkin Park guy.
I am not, and I actually have a fun story about that before we get into this album.
Go on.
So, I love my music.
You could have known. You're on a music podcast.
I know, isn't that crazy? I am a huge fan of picking a specific song and putting a radio mix of that song on Spotify. Mm-hmm. Great feature. I wish it was a little bit more random, as does everyone else. Spotify, fix your randomizer. I actually had to block Linkin Park on Spotify.
Because they come up in every 2000s metal playlist.
Not even that. I was picking songs. So, for example, me and my partner love listening to a bit of K-pop as we're driving. The one time I picked a song by Hyphen called Polaroid Love. Absolute bop. Put it on a radio mix. It played 4 K-pop songs. Then it played Papa Roach. Then it played Linkin Park. Then it played a K-pop song. Then it played Papa Roach. Then it played Linkin Park. It did that for 2 hours. I have no idea why, but it decided that after every song I'd listen to, I'd get a Papa Roach and a Linkin Park song.
Lovely.
And I'm not the biggest fan of Linkin Park.
No.
I used to be a fan of Papa Roach until they were shoved down my throat. However, Spotify have got a thing about forcing artists on me. My Spotify Wrapped from a few years back has a band called We Came as Romans in my top 5. I don't listen to them. I'm familiar with them. I'm not the biggest fan. I like the covers they did on the Punk Goes Pop albums. As with a few other bands such as Skin Dread, used to like them. Can't listen to them now. Put them on block because every fucking playlist had them in. I've got about 20 or 30 artists that I genuinely like that I've had to put into Do Not Play because they have soiled so many playlists and have absolutely nothing to do with the music I'm listening to. And that is the sorry state of Spotify at the minute. A great example, my partner's dad has just had a new car. So I put Spotify on his phone because his car now has the ability to play Spotify.
Fun.
Which is great. I put that his likes are Hall & Oates, AC/DC, and Wings, the band with
Paul
McCartney.
Yeah.
So why the fuck is it telling him to listen to Taylor Swift? It has all these amazing playlists of like Foreigner and a few other great bands on there.
But you really need to listen to Death of a Showgirl.
But it's literally, out of everything, it's going, your next best listen. And it's Taylor Swift. Everything else is like 70s and 80s, and then there's Taylor Swift.
Well, this was like the Ed Sheeran push that we talked about a couple of weeks ago.
Exactly.
He released that new album. Admittedly, we were listening for the show.
Yeah.
But you look at, I'm just going to make assumptions about our collective listening history. Bands like Bill Murray, Don Brocco. For me, it'd be Ghost.
For me, it'd be Ice Nine Kills.
They use Ice Nine Kills. And then, would you like, I don't know, an email and a notification and an unskippable ad for Ed Sheeran?
Even after you put block on him?
Yeah.
Another artist I've had to put block on.
Yep.
That's for just general ease of listening.
That's just for quality of life.
Just for quality control.
Yeah.
But yeah, Spotify, fix your shit. Stop letting artists pay money to get in front of people. Because that's what it feels like at the moment. There is no way that Taylor Swift should be showing to a 72-year-old man on his first Spotify account. He hasn't listened to you. He has no intention of listening to you, as a lot of people don't with your new release. And if you want us to review it, then feel free to send it over. You know that email address.
Yes, Spotify, bring it.
Spotify, bring it. We'll do a review on it. We'll get absolutely slated for slagging it off like no one else is willing to do, apparently.
Who knows?
If it's a bit wank, that is. I don't know. I don't want to listen to it. I've just been told things.
And neither does your father-in-law.
Wait.
But there we go. All that to say, and also, speaking about Spotify Wrapped, by the time this episode releases, that will all be being discussed. We won't be discussing our Spotify Wraps until we get to the Christmas episodes, mostly because we are currently recording in October. So, we don't know. I guess we'll talk about that at the year-end shows.
If Taylor Swift appears in my Spotify Wrapped, I am going to cry.
Oh, man. I really hope it doesn't appear in mine, mainly because I haven't been listening to her.
Same.
I'm going to make a prediction right here, as if anybody wouldn't know. Sleep Token's going to be my number one artist. That's my prediction. And I think Look to Windward is going to be the song that comes up as most played. That's my prediction. Do you have one?
I have absolutely no predictions this year. My Spotify has been so random. I've tried to listen to as much new stuff as I physically can. Last year, I had an inkling of who it would be because I kind of listened to one song over and over again because I just fell in love with it. Maybe I'm a bit on the spectrum. Who knows? But this year, I've really tried to open my eyes and open my musical taste. I get a feeling based on what my Spotify's playing lately that K-pop Demon Hunters may make it into my list.
Who could have known?
Idols is a bop, as is Soda Pop.
I mean, yeah, I am a proper Saja boy.
I am also a Saja boy. I'm glad I'm in good company.
I can't do the noise. Anyway, Linkin
Park. Let's go back into Linkin Park. So this album actually came out the day after my birthday. Weird because the last album that we discussed on the podcast before this one
came out after my birthday.
It came out the day after Mike's birthday.
Weird.
And came out March 25th, 2003. And is, as Mike said, the sophomore album and followed their hit breakthrough album, I'd say, Hybrid Theory.
Huge album.
Oh, it's absolutely whopping, and it is probably the reason why this album did so well as successively. That's such a hard word for a guy with a lisp to say. It solidified the band's place as a nu metal titan, bleeding rap, rock, and electronic textures into a tightly produced, emotionally charged record that became one of the best-selling albums of the 2000s.
I can believe that.
I never actually listened to this when I was a kid.
Again, you weren't a Linkin Park guy.
I wasn't a Linkin Park guy. However, I've referenced my brother before. Hi, Lee. I know you're listening. My brother is actually probably the first person that I knew get into this style of music. He was a big Linkin Park fan. I remember him buying this album particularly with one of his wages, and I remember seeing it. I remember seeing the cover. He had it as one of his prized possessions. Such a beautiful album to look at. Simple cover, not really too flashy. Very similar to Linkin Park. It was all about the substance rather than the style. But the actual artwork of it is still in my mind and actually really matches the tone of the album, which I love. However, I never actually listened to it because I was not into Linkin Park at the time. I was more of a Bullet for My Valentine fan and Bring Me the Horizon fan, and didn't think that Linkin Park were heavy enough. Isn't that weird, considering that Bullet for My Valentine are probably less heavy than Linkin Park?
Oh, yeah, probably. Outside of maybe Scream, Aim, Fire? I don't know.
It was the Poison days, so it was when they were a little bit heavier and a little bit less singy-songy. Anyway, I was not a big Linkin Park fan, so until this episode came up, I've never actually listened to this album in its entirety. And I have to admit, thank you for sending this in, because it's been a very fun listen.
Hey, we're doing it. We're breaking him down.
Oh no, I'm adding them back to the block list after this. No, I'm joking. Spotify, don't do me over, please. Anyway, so this had 5 single releases. So they were actually released a fairly decent time away from one another. So the first single came out in February before the album dropped. Second, which was Somewhere I Belong, Faint, released in June, followed by Numb in September, From the Inside in January of the following year, and Breaking the Habit in June of the following year. So a very spread out release schedule for those 5 tracks.
5 tracks, and like realistically, I think 3 of them are like all-timer recognizable songs. Numb especially.
Oh yeah.
I feel like has pierced the zeitgeist and is still kind of like getting play.
Well, I used to work in a rock club in Birmingham, and I guarantee that even on the indie nights, you'd hear at least one of those songs.
Oh yeah, totally.
Regardless of the crowd, there'd always be someone that wanted a Linkin Park song. Similarly to the rock clubs that still stand.
Yeah.
Some of the most requested songs are Linkin Park, and I've been at weddings where people have requested Linkin Park. It's crazy. Like, it's something that I would never have expected.
It's a weird one, right? Because like when they released Hybrid Theory, it was kind of the new metal genre was kind of like, it was just coming up from that undercurrent. It had just kind of broken through, and it was them, and it was Papa Roach,
Static X. Trying to think of any of the other. Korn had just made their huge comeback. After their tour, which was probably one of the first live shows I went to as well. No, one of the first. I follow it. Killswitch Engage. There we go, another one, which was my first show. First band I ever saw live. Bring Me the Horizon. Their opening support act.
Wow, really?
Yep.
Well, that's something else.
So back in the Count Your Blessings days, opening support for Killswitch Engage, it was Bring Me the Horizon, The Haunted, never heard of them again, and Killswitch Engage. Incredible night, one of the best shows I've ever been to. Was it just rose-tinted glasses because it was my first ever show? Maybe. Incredible show from every band involved.
I tragically never saw Linkin Park live before Chester left us, unfortunately.
I didn't either. I wasn't a fan, and I doubt I'd want to see them now.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that a little bit later on.
Yeah.
So this album was actually a very big commercial success. It hit number 1 in the Billboard 200 with 810,000 copies selling in its first week in America.
Yep.
810,000. It has sold over 16 million copies worldwide, making it one of the best-selling albums of the 21st century.
Damn, son.
It is insane. And there was actually a 6th single that wasn't officially released as a single.
Okay.
It was released as a promotional single, and that was Lying From You, which was released in 2004. But it wasn't part of the official rollout.
Well, that's post-album launch as well, weirdly.
Yeah, it's crazy. And there was a 20th anniversary deluxe edition released in 2023, which reignited interest and sent the album back to the top of multiple Billboard charts.
And moreover, 5 tracks that were cut from Meteora were released as part of that 20th set.
Oh, wow.
Genuinely, I think it was, oh God, now you're challenging me because I really like them. Lost, Fighting Myself, More the Victim. Oh God, and there's another two. One of them has the word foot in it. Healing Foot or something like that. There's some weird ones. Honestly, these are like interesting deep cuts, right? Because they really could have it didn't feel like crap. It didn't feel like just like, oh, we've stitched together some like these felt like properly like
fledged out songs.
They could have been on the record and nobody would have batted an eyelid.
But
They sound so good.
Maybe that's just proof of how much time they actually put into it, that they needed a release, because it was Warner, I think, that released this.
Yeah.
And maybe they restricted them to the amount of tracks they could have, or they wanted a certain amount of commercial success that the shorter albums tended to see a little bit more.
Maybe.
But going back to a theme that we've explored before and which we've talked about in depth, because of when this album came out in 2003, Metacritic only gave it a 62 out of 100.
Yeah.
Which is an insanely low score for what is a quintessential album of the 2000s. And it goes to show that if this album released nowadays, because of how more open the world, and especially the world of reviewers, are to heavier albums, I reckon this would chart a hell of a lot higher.
Oh, yeah.
And I reckon it'd score a lot higher with critics. It shows that, like, realistically, when we were in our heyday back in our teen years, that people didn't really take rock, metal, nu metal, all those different types of music too seriously. And I'm so glad that the tide is turning now, because kids, teenagers, adults are all allowed to actually enjoy the music they want to do without being cast into these weird-ass groups.
I do feel like what you don't see anymore is the demonization of stuff like rock, metal, anything that kind of leans more alternative.
Yeah.
You got to think this album came out, it would have been post 9/11, and it would have been around the time of the Columbine shooting, which shouldn't be relevant, but it was in the American zeitgeist that music that sounded angry was very much being used as a stick to beat people with who didn't conform. And I think that the critical response has got a lot to do with that, because there was this idea within the right-wing press at the time that nu metal and kind of alternative rock leading into emo music was damaging the kids.
You had quite a few religious groups actually saying that, like, it was devil music and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, but you see that every generation.
You see that every generation. But what's hilarious at the time is that you had bands like August Burns Red, Under Oath, As I Lay Dying, who were Christian bands, which were viewed in the same light of being, oh, devil music, oh, you can't listen to this, it's devil music. But if you actually listen to the themes of it, it's talking about Christianity.
Yeah.
I mean, August Burns Red are currently recording a Christmas album.
Sorry,
they do a Christmas show every year. They love Christmas.
Excellent.
And they spread a really, like, big religious message. Great band to listen to. Really tight guitars. Like, it is incredible. Like, their cover of Carol of the Bells is incredibly tight. It is like, their guitar work is beautiful. But they were seen as devil music and were, like, properly flagged because of the type of music that they were. And nowadays, it's a lot better.
You can take it for the art that it is now, as opposed to a CD changer full of singers that are mad at their dads to, quote, Bowling for Soup. Yeah, I do feel like this album did speak to people at the time who did feel disconnected and did feel disenfranchised. And then it was the world that had to align to that. So I think it was very forward-looking for when it came out.
Oh, 100%. And it is a shame that Chester Bennington is no longer with us. It's he would absolutely love to see the way that the world is with music now. Like, I think he'd embrace it fully and he'd be fully lost in the world of music. And it is a shame he isn't here. I know we don't want to get into too many deep themes here, but it is really sad to not have him about, because he had such a beautiful voice, especially for a rock singer.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he could scream, he could sing. He just looked like he had a love for life. But unfortunately, he didn't feel that way and things happened. So just remember, people are around to talk if you need to. You're never on your own. There's always somebody here to check on you. Don't ever feel like there is nowhere to go. There is always someone to give you a helping hand if you need it.
That's true.
And I know this has got very deep, but it's a serious topic, and I want anyone that's listening to this podcast to feel like they're on their own. If you need a chat, reach out to us. Genuinely, we will have a talk with you. If you want to just have a general chit chat, we're here for it. Like, me and Mike can talk for years about this sort of shit.
Especially if you want to talk about how good Meteora is, because I'm down for
As you can probably tell from Mike's introduction to this album, he's very much down to talk about how much he loves this album.
The 3 albums that changed my life: Meteora, Hybrid Theory, and Skater Rock, a compilation of
Meteora and Hybrid Theory.
It had Linkin Park on it, and it had like Heaven is a Half Pipe and shit
on
it.
OPM.
Yeah, OPM were on it.
And Crazy Town, Butterfly.
I don't think that was on it.
Butterfly, my sugar baby.
I mean, it's a dog shit song, but I really love it.
So, a few more fun facts. Let's bring it back. So, the band actually created over 40 demos for this album before narrowing it down to 13 tracks. And Breaking the Habit was originally an instrumental until Mike Shinoda wrote lyrics inspired by close friend struggles. The album's artwork was created by Delta, a Dutch graffiti artist, and documented in the DVD, The Making of Meteora. And Numb later become part of the mashup Numb Encore with Jay-Z, which actually won a Grammy.
I remember Collision Course and thinking, a new Linkin Park album, and then be like, what the hell is this? I was not at the time where I was ready to be challenged.
Do you want an encore? Do you want more?
Cooking raw with the Brooklyn
ball.
It just takes something I love and changes it, and I don't like change.
You were not a fan.
I don't
at
like
the time.
change. Bearing in mind that Reanimation came out before this, which was like the big remix of Hybrid Theory, and that was like experimental as shit, and I really liked that. And then Collision Course happened. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. Let's talk about Meteora. Let's talk about the good tracks on Meteora.
Let's talk about Meteora.
All of them. Bye, everybody. No. I think that it's a completely untouchable album, so I love every single track. Each one holds a little special memory. But objectively speaking, if I had to pick one that was going to be this kind of encapsulates all of the themes and motifs and emotions in the album, it's going to have to be Faint. And I know a lot of people disagree with me and go, but Numb's the most popular one. I get it. I feel like Faint really shows all aspects of that band on high function. I think you've got some great sampling work by Joe Hahn up front, which has kind of been doing the rounds on social at the minute because they found the sample as part of, I think it's Dr. No, where they reversed like an orchestral sting. So like you've got that really great sample that opens it up. Really nice guitar work in this. I think they've really structured the kind of the dueling nature of Mike Shinoda's rapping and Chester's very powerful, like shout, scream, sing vocals. It's all there. Every aspect that makes Linkin Park such a good band are all there. You've got the high energy, you've got the emotionally charged lyrics, you've got the great composition, and you've got those experimental features. I don't really think you can do better than Faint, so I have to pedestal that one.
So I think the mine is From the Inside.
I love From the Inside as well. I mean, you won't be surprised to hear it. It was weird that was released as a single because I felt that wasn't, because it wasn't as high tempo as some of the other stuff. And obviously, apart from Numb, I was like, this is not going to perform well as a single. And the video is a little bit trite. But it's a great song, right?
And Breaking the Habit. I loved Breaking the Habit when I was a kid because it wasn't too Linkin Park for me. It really demonstrated how great Chester's vocals were.
Yeah.
Because at the time, like back when I was younger, I didn't appreciate Chester's scream vocals. I didn't like AC/DC. I didn't like those type of vocals. I was very much not of the classic rock type voice. And Chester somehow managed to blend a classic rock voice with screamo, which is a very weird, complex mix, but he does it so well, and it just worked perfectly for this album. Yeah, it was just Breaking the Habit. I'm glad that they did add lyrics to it because it like hits hard, man. It's like, why does it hit so? It's like, I'm 13 and this is deep, but it actually it is deep.
It kind of feels like a panic attack of a song.
It does.
Like you've got that very kind of insular rising tension and just this general anxiety that runs through those first couple of verses that then like fully explodes on the choruses, and that's where those scream vocals really shine. Because like you've got very soft, very melodic kind of, tense verses to then lead up to I'll paint it on the walls, and and it feels like this explosion. And the video, I forget which studio did the video, but
It's so beautifully animated.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This is gonna put a pin in this because I want to talk about animation later on. This video done by this anime studio in Japan is so goddamn good and so damn iconic, and it really matches the frenetic kind of like, I don't know, like I say, this anxiety riddled thing, because you've got all these scratchy lines and it looks like it's got real like bend and movement to it. It's a beautiful thing to look at. And when it comes to the bad stuff, remind me to pick up an animation. I have points to make.
Okay. That studio was called Gonzo.
Gonzo, there we go. I don't know what else they did. I'm not in my anime headspace at the minute.
They animated a segment of Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill Volume 1.
Huh, okay, cool.
And they actually won the 2004 MTV VMA Viewers' Choice Award.
Was it for that?
Yep.
Yeah, I thought it was for that, for breaking the habit. That's awesome. That's awesome. I feel good. This is a nice little trip down memory lane for me. I like this.
So let's go back to it. So I also like Session. I know it's only an intermission, but it's a really good showcase of Mike Shinoda's DJ skills, and like arrangement skills.
Well, it's Joe Hahn.
Well, yeah, Joe Hahn, but Mike Shinoda putting it all together because he was like the producer, wasn't he?
Yeah, of course.
He knew how to put the songs together, so you had Joe Hahn like on the decks. But really, this is Mike Shinoda's project, and that becomes apparent when you listen to like Fort Minor and like his other side projects.
Yeah,
because they all have that Mike Shinoda sound, and fair play to him, he's found a format that works, but that kind of goes into a negative for me.
Okay.
So there's a few songs on this album that, don't get me wrong, Linkin Park have got a very defined sound, and I love it. Like, it suits them, it works for them. However, if you listen to Figure 9, that sounds a lot like very similar to Closer to the Edge.
Yeah.
It's very, very close. It's literally like a very small change to the guitar riffs and chorus. Other than that, it's Closer to the Edge, which worked as a song. It was a great song, and it's probably one of, if not the most memorable songs from Hybrid Theory.
Yeah, it's from Hybrid Theory.
But it's that one's kind of like a copy and paste, and it feels like out of the 40 demos, they could have found one that was a little bit further away.
This is why I feel like fighting myself could have made that record, and not that I would change anything. I would only add. I would just add Fighting Myself, because it feels like it fits on this record so well. I get it. Are we into the bad stuff now?
Yeah.
Okay. Mike Shinoda. Mike Shinoda. Oh God. Right.
That's a new segment.
I think at the time I did not realise how much of a problem Mike Shinoda was going to be. And I think you are correct. You've identified something that perhaps I am too kind of blinkered to see. Is that Mike Shinoda wants things how Mike Shinoda does them. Which has only been more apparent when the 20th anniversary release for this album was made. Because those tracks that were released, and I'm so glad they exist, those 5 additional tracks, we get to hear more Chester than we'd ever heard before from these sessions. I'm so glad to hear it. I mean, obviously there was all the Linkin Park underground stuff that happened at the time, but like I wasn't as much up on that because that required for one, you had to be in the States, and I could not, for the love of the money, find that shit on LimeWire. So I missed a lot of like underground Linkin Park stuff. So to hear more of the Meteora sessions is so good. Why in the blithering fuck do we have to have like the legacy of such, to me, and maybe this is entirely insular, such an important album that did so much to evolve that band sound and to put forward its identity as this kind of like really the driving force behind nu metal, then progressing into alternative rock, and just take it and just go, you know what? This needs AI. This needs to have AI art plastered all the fuck over it. If you go and listen to at the time, when you pulled up the 20th anniversary edition of Meteora, an in-streaming platform that also supported video, you would be bombarded with AI artwork. these videos of these constantly shifting fucking... Basically, they had a load of people draw like anime scenes or something like that, fed it into an algorithm, and the algorithm produced a video. And it pulls like the video for, I think it's for Lost, puts like an anime overlay over some of their live footage, and it looks dog shit. And then the new tracks, you want to hear like Lost and Fighting Myself, and like just these fucking morphing like the fucking anime version of Will Smith eating spaghetti fucking videos. And they look so bad. And this isn't even the first time that Mike Shinoda has just done something fucky with the legacy of Linkin Park. Like, the dude's been like well, he does have a line of NFTs. He's been very vocal about how NFTs are actually cool and good. Then put a line of them out to support this other project he was doing. And like, I know we're going far from Meteora now, but like, I genuinely feel that the thing that drags down the whole project is Mike Shinoda just not realizing when to shut the fuck up and not do something. Like, we could sit here and we could talk about what's going on with the new lead singer being linked to Scientology and defending Danny Masterson, but that is not relevant to this record and to the project. The relevant thing here is Mike Shinoda just needs to know when to fucking quit. Because, like, you already, in my opinion, achieve perfection. You don't need to go back and tweak it and sully it, and I don't know. I think I'm too emotionally charged on that, personally.
The point of a 20th anniversary remaster is to show the difference between then and now. Like, there's a Panic at the Disco remaster about to come out in January. It's going to be really interesting to see how the vocals differ now that Brendan Urie's had 20 years of vocal training, and how it's going to improve, or how it's going to like fall to the wayside because it can't be improved. Similar thing happened with Kids in Glass Houses when they reformed. They did a re-release of their first album, Smart Casual, and it sounds great. They've re-recorded everything, and it sounds so clean and fresh, but his vocals are still exactly the same. And it is so nice to hear, and it's a celebration. I don't see why you would take something and sully the legacy, especially when one of the founding members of the band isn't around to stop you.
Yeah. I think that's why the 20th anniversary release is like, I love it and I'm happy it exists, but it's just like, it does feel like that somebody else is controlling the somebody else has got the hands on the wheel of the car and is driving in a place we do not want to go to.
Yeah.
And why go for the cheap of the moment kind of fads when you are celebrating something still being relevant after 2 decades?
If you were going to do that for the new releases, fine. You're in the era of AI. Like, if you release an album now, if you release a song today, and you want to put something a bit different out there, and you want to state explicitly that you have used AI to generate it, fine. But don't take something that was done 20 years ago and add that to it. There is no need to add AI elements to it. There's no need to go back and change parts of the track. It'd be like if he randomly went in and decided, oh, you know what? Didn't like Chester's vocals on that. You know who I'm going to add? Elton John. Like, it'd be so surreal. Get me a lyric
about sausage rolls now.
Let's just turn Numb into done.
As in, the sausage rolls are done, yeah.
But yeah, so slightly going off piece. But the point is, don't change it just because you can. Don't use emerging technologies because they're cool. At some point, you're going to look back at that and go, what the fuck was I doing? Like, that isn't just your legacy. Yes, you are a part of the band, and yes, Chester was only one part of the band, of like a part of a moving wheel. But celebrate the legacy. Don't embrace the future for something where you're talking about the past.
All of that to say, I only have those issues with the re-release. The original album, no notes. I'm good. I'm happy with every single track on here. Even the weaker ones are good for me.
Well, as I said, Nobody's Listening is on my negative list.
That's a shame.
It's just feels different to the rest of the album. It feels more like a remix.
I get that. I do think
it feels like it shouldn't have been. It should have been on, like, say they did Meteora 2.0, where it's like a remix album, similar to Reanimation. Like, if they took tracks, if they released that as a standard song and then did that on Meteora, Meteora, it would work. But it feels like it's just a bit of a damp squib on this album. It feels like it doesn't flow with the rest of the tracks where they're really like punchy and to the point. I mean, even though like Breaking the Habit is a very different tone, it still fits with that theme. It fits with everything that's going on. But this feels like more of a hip hop track with like heavier inspiration on the back of it.
It's proto Fort Minor, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
I think it's because it's stripped back so much, because like the guitar is very simple. It's just that little chug in the background.
And then,
Yeah, and then you've got a bit of the Dex work and the sampling, and the sampling feels a bit more kind of like Asia inspired, I feel, which doesn't really fit with kind of like the techno futurist kind of vibe that they had throughout Hybrid Theory and then into Meteora. I get it. I understand that it's not the most conducive. I still quite like it though, because try to give you warning is such a good.
I love the lyrics.
Refrain.
And
I love that.
I don't mind the song genuinely, but it just feels like out of the album, between that and Figure 9 sounding like an earlier released piece of work, out of 40 tracks, could you have picked 2 that were more in line with the rest of the album? We'll never know, because there are so many tracks that haven't been released.
That's true.
And as you've said, there are a couple of tracks on there you wish would have been on the album that you'd have added.
Oh yeah.
Would they have been better additions than these 2 tracks?
That's a question.
But I'm not going to let that ruin whether I'm going to give this a verdict or not.
So is it like any out and out like bad songs for you? Is it like ones where you're like, I just don't know why this is here?
No. It's a strong no. Actually, it was quite the opposite. I was looking through today to try and pick top songs, and it was a struggle to say which songs belonged in the top section because there are so many that deserve to be there. Like, as I say, I wasn't a Linkin Park fan, but I was driving down to yours in the car today and singing along. Like, they've got so many great songs on this album, and I think I was part of the crowd that was kind of like brainwashed into going, oh, they're the stinky band. Like, they're the band that all the stinky grebs like.
Yeah. It was a real sweaty Grebo band.
It was a really sweaty Grebo band where I was an emo kid, and I was like, ooh, don't want to listen to that. That's stinky emo music. Sorry, stinky Grebo music, not stinky emo music. But they have some absolutely huge songs on this album that the rock metal scene would not be the same as it is today without. Yeah. Which means it can only go one way. And
lads, I think we're about to win. I
don't like it when Mike wins.
I think we're about to win, lads.
I think we're about to win. Yeah, this is unskippable.
Hell yes!
You don't know how wrong it feels for me not of liking Linkin Park before this.
You were so unhappy that this made the cut. Like, you were so, like, it went on the list. I remember you just put like an ew note on there. And I'm like, no, it's good. And then it came up on the wheel, and you're like, oh, do we have to? But it's
it's genuinely such a strong album, and you can't really appreciate the modern rock playlist without inspiration from Linkin Park. And it is a shame that none of the music they make today will ever live up to how glorious this album is.
Yeah.
And that's just due to, I know they went with a different route for the new singer, and I appreciate that. They went with someone that wasn't Chester and wasn't trying to pretend to be Chester, unlike AC/DC when they tried to they replaced Bon with Jono, that was doing a Bon impression that kind of stuck, and then replaced him with Axl Rose weirdly for a little bit. And then
Brian Johnson.
Jono, yeah.
Oh, John. You call him Jono?
Yeah, Jono.
Is that what they call him?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I like AC/DC. Why didn't I know that?
Yeah, Jono.
Okay, cool.
And then replaced him with Axl Rose for a while. That was a very random call. Man.
There was the one time I could have seen AC/DC was that just at that time where I was like, oh man, and I quite like Brian Johnson's vocals.
I do as well.
And then there was literally like, oh, he's taking a break and it'll be Axl Rose. And I stopped
the
idea of purchasing those tickets immediately.
Yeah. I used to hate that vocal style, and now I love it. But admittedly, Brian Johnson copied Bon's lyrical style.
Yeah.
He was a very different singer before he joined AC/DC. In that instance, it worked because he managed to pull it off perfectly, and he has become the legacy of AC/DC alongside Angus Young and Malcolm Young, who's sadly also no longer with us.
Yep.
But with Linkin Park, they wanted to go in a completely different way. And is it Emily?
Yeah.
Her name?
Emily Armstrong.
Emily Armstrong. she's a very different vocalist, and I don't really care about her background. I don't really care about her political stand. I just don't think her vocals are strong enough to withstand the rest of the music from Linkin Park. And I think there's a lot stronger vocalists out there that would have been better for the part, that could have done it a little bit more justice. I've heard a couple of the live recordings. I've heard a couple of like the tracks that they've released. And yeah, they've lost me. It's just, I don't think anything will ever live up to how well Chester was seeded into that band. And that's because it was his band.
I'm glad that we don't live in a world without Linkin Park, because there was that time between 2017 and 2022, 23-ish, where we very much did not have anything.
We called those the good days.
Screw you. Like, at least they did actually try that evolution whilst they had Chester as well.
Exactly.
You know, the Minutes to Midnight into the more kind of like safe rock zone, then into more electronica kind of stuff with the Hunting Party and the Fall. Is it the Fall? I don't think it's called the Fall. It's the one with the Catalyst on it that's kind of like all right.
As you say, they actually attempted to do something new. They tried to evolve their music. And of course, you're not going to have a banger every time. You're not going to have like a genre-defining album every time you release something.
They're lucky that they
had
had
different. Yeah, I mean, What I've Done will forever be down as one of the best meme songs of all time.
Yeah,
thanks to Transformers.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, it will. Oh man, I really like that song, and just like I have to live with the fact that it was made for Michael Bay's Transformers, and that's just something as a Linkin Park fan I have to.
And slapped on Guitar Hero.
Yeah, but it did slap on Guitar Hero. It was quite good, wasn't it? Man, but like you made Hybrid Theory, which I also love, and this, which is just such a redefining record for that genre. I don't think you would have anything even remotely like skirting up to those like more experimental edges without this. Every single person in Linkin Park should be so proud of this record.
100%.
And even AI bullshit will not sully how I feel about it, even if it does make me a little bit irate, as you might have heard. So, we won.
Well done, Linkin Park. You have made that coveted, unskippable playlist.
Hell yeah. Should we have a track of the week to end up, and then we'll skedaddle?
Sure. Do you want to add one in this week?
I'll have it. I've been listening back to, weirdly, we were talking about Panic at the Disco a few moments ago, and I don't know why I chose to go back to Death of a Bachelor recently. I would love to do an episode on that album. I can't remember what I was doing, but for some reason my head just went, do you remember how good LA Devotee was?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that whole album, though.
I would love to do an episode on that album, because it's at the time where I feel like people just like had very polarizing feelings on Panic at the Disco because it became the Brendan Urie show. But truly, the record itself is kind of like the post emo Frank Sinatra, I Did It My Way home run lap that it was meant to be. It's, for some people, true trash, and to some people high art. But LA Devotee is like, on that record, it's so goddamn enjoyable and so good. I love the whole like occult take that he has when talking about Hollywood and the music industry as a whole, and how it's like there are these beautiful hypnotic things that are hiding this very seedy undertone, which, I mean, real. I really like the music video as well, again, and like he's being presented as like this cultish leader, and like he's such a good actor. You can see why he made that transition to stage, but you can hear all of that dynamics in his vocals, and he does even a really cheesy key change towards the end, and even that works. Like, yeah, you can argue it's not an emo band anymore. You can argue this is not even really particularly a hard rock song or anything like that.
But it's evolution. Like he's seen that he needed to evolve. He needed to change his style. He was getting older. He wanted to try different things. He had incredible operatic training for Kinky Boots, and like he loved his time on it. And yeah, he tried something different. He tried something out there, and you've got to applaud him for it.
Oh yeah, it's a very stagey rock song, and maybe I relate too much because of my background. But there we
with
go.
Musical theatre.
Yeah,
it's a very, very Theatre Kid Glee-esque type.
Oh,
release.
Don't say. Oh, that pains me. Don't say it's Glee. Okay, yeah. Thanks for ruining the fucking Linkin Park episode I was looking forward to.
Love you too.
Okay, We'll see you next week, everybody. Who knows what we'll be listening to? We
do.
Well, we do.
Yeah, we've got it on the wheel, mate.
Is it on the... I don't think we picked this one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Don't you wanna be automatic?
I forgot we're rounding out the year with that particular record. We'll see you next week to discuss it.
Yeah, we will.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.